the Hachiroku Takumi! Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another car review, and this time we're in a 2017 Toyota 86. Now this is the 860 version of the car. There's a couple of differences between this one and the regular versions, and that is the Alcantara that's in the middle. You also have the orange stitching that comes back pretty much everywhere in this car. The seats are absolutely grand. Of course, you know, being the person that I am, my love handles are getting kind of a squeeze, but not too bad though. Give you plenty of side support. As you can hear, this is of course the automatic. It does have a manual function, and the owner actually drives it in manual all the time, in which case I'm actually going to follow his lead on that. Now let's try these brakes here. That's not bad at all. That third gear is so long in this car. Can't even get close to that top end on that, man. But the handling on this thing is freaking on point. You know, I completely get why people get a car like this. Okay, this one has the automatic transmission. Of course, personally, I would get it in the manual. Manual is also a little bit faster than this one. Should do 0 to 60 in 6 seconds, while this one does it in the 7-second range. But man, just for the handling, and of course automatics, this has the manual option, which is still nice, and it has that freaking awesome downshift mode on this. Yes. Oh yeah, it is so freaking loud, I love it. It's not a ton of power in this car, and I think that is the thing that I dislike the most about it, because a lot of people have said, when are we gonna get the turbocharged version? When are we gonna get the STI or the hyper turbo version of this car? And unfortunately, it never happened. And kind of salty about that myself, and I think the entire world is salty about it. But the aftermarket on this car is absolutely glorious, so you can fix that yourself if you want to. So 300 horsepower, that STI power level is easily attainable, and it'll stay together all day at that level as well. Now the engine in this car is a 2-liter boxer engine. It's the same across the entire line of the model, and it makes in the automatic 200 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. Now you get +5 torque and +5 horsepower if you opt for the manual transmission. That rev matching is pretty cool. To wind out, and I'm not going to say that this is slow by any means. It's absolutely not. Now at the faint 60 miles an hour, we're sitting at just a hair under 2,000 RPM, and I think that is freaking excellent. Now you can hear that this one is not stock. This one has a Bora Touring axle back, and it also has the NVIDIA catless front pipe, which means that it is semi-catless. It still has a couple of cats left. When we go to the exterior styling of the car still looks the same virtually as when it came out in 2012. But I don't mind it as much. In this car, it looks like it's designed to have a wide body kit on it. There's plenty of guys out there that have done as such. And, you know, the main person that comes to mind when you think Toyota 86 or BRZ is, of course, TJ Hunt, because he's done so much to this car that pretty much embodies what this car stands for. You have so many tuning options on this car that you can go anywhere with it. You can just keep it nice and low-key, like this one is, because it has a couple of additions that you go, okay, that could have come from factory. You have these awesome wheels, which are XXR 527s, which I think look absolutely great on this car. And then you also have the front splitter and the side splitters that the owner put on, which it sets it off, but it doesn't look out of place at all. It's almost like it could have been a tick on the options. Another thing that you might notice on the exterior is that the fitment on this car is freaking on point. And that's because it has time coilover, so it's a little bit lower. It also has some different control arms, which will help the handling a little bit more. But man, this car handles like a dream. It looks good, and also don't have any rubbing issues, and that surprised me. And I'm also surprised by the road handling on this. Yes, it bounces around a little bit, but not to the point that you would expect when a car sits so low like this one does. Really nice styling on these cars, you know, it just makes you excited. And also this one gets that awesome rear spoiler, which you see it in your rearview mirror. That makes you just that much more excited to drive this around. Another thing that is different between the older generations is the front end on this kind of has those little teeth coming from the bottom lip, and that gives it just a little bit more of that aggressiveness to it. I do love the downshift on this automatic. You think that this is boring to drive? Absolutely not. Take this corner again, because this is the best. It is so funny feeling a car just take a corner like that with no issue at all. You know, we did the takeoff here in manual. I really wonder what the car does when you put it in drive and then put your foot in it. So let's try that. Just activated boring mode.
Pretty much.
So we did put it on sport and track mode now. Definitely a lot more engaging to drive if you leave it in the manual, but it is keeping the gears now, which is pretty good. Really. This is definitely one of the reasons why I don't mind this automatic at all. I do feel that back end is willing to take a little flip out. Now, that's, of course, part of the reason why people drift these cars around, and it's kind of also bringing it back to that old school Toyota 86, which, of course, now is legendary. And one of the reasons why it's legendary, if you watch anime, you already know it's freaking initial D, the Hachiroku Takumi! Yes, oh man, gotta love it. Now, let's talk about the things that I don't like. Now, the one thing that I've already mentioned is, of course, the power level. We should have gotten that turbocharger, but you can fix that with the aftermarket. The things that you can't fix with the aftermarket is these rear seats. It says 4-seater, but it really isn't. You cannot try to worm your way in there. I've actually been in the dealership, tried to sit in the front and put my daughter in the back, and I asked her, can you sit back there? And she said, I don't have any room for my legs. And that was when she was 4 years old, and now she's 6, so she would definitely not fit. So yeah, interior space, unfortunately not as good, but if you just the one person or just the two of you, you'd be completely fine. The trunk space is adequate as well for its segment. Another thing that I really like about the steering on this is that it's nice and heavy. It's an electronic rack, so you would expect that it doesn't have a lot of feedback, but the weight on this is on point. Now there's one thing that I wish this car did have, and it was unequal length headers, because it gives you that dark purple. Now the owner said that he is considering putting unequal length headers on this car, which I think would be a proper choice. Now, as a final conclusion on this car, would it be something for me personally? I'm gonna say no, because it doesn't have the power that I want, but it has everything else. You have the handling, you have the looks, you have the nice interior, the nice seats. It's performance orientated, but you just are missing the power. Now, of course, it helps for younger people to get into this car. Insurance rate will probably also be a little bit lower because of that. But man, that is just the one thing that I wish this car had. And of course, over here, we're gonna have to do this thing. Yes. Not too loud, but yes. Sahil, thank you so much for letting me drive your Toyota 86. It's been an eye-opener, and I actually think that if you want to have a car like this, you only got two choices right now. That is, one, you get the BRZ, FRS, Toyota 86, whatever version, or you get the Miata. But if you don't like to have a fold roof, you want to have a solid roof, this is pretty much the only option you have for a small rear-wheel drive car. And for that, you just gotta love it. And on that acceleration note, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Someone did a burnout.
Yeah.
Just need one. Someone did a burnout and then subsequently crashed.
Yep. Probably a Mustang.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm sorry, man, but I just GT500.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. GT500 though. I see it and I'm like, I'm just freaking in love with it. That's like my dream car would get it in, one of my dream cars. Get it in orange, of course, and then get a custom guide, do a vinyl wrap of the roof with the Dutch Texan logo and then the Dutch Texan inside. Yeah. That would be legit. Kid you not.
Yeah.
God. Hey. Scion, the defunct brand. TC behind us.
Oh, yeah.
Now he wishes that he had one of these. I know that.
That's funny because I actually have a TC.
You do?
That's my daily driver.
Oh, that's so funny. Now, I always liked the way that they looked, but you know, it's just again the power level thing. They did offer that TRD supercharger kit.
Well, you know what's funny? My TC is completely stock. From a dig, it's faster than this car.
Oh man, that's so bad.
It's kind of sad. See, it's so much better when you downshift.
Oh, yes, yes. And I went into the freaking first gear like you said. Put it in first gear, transmission will do it. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Yes, yes, so loud. Look at that WRX.
You're gonna Subaru, buddy.
Giving them space. Part of the crew. Even though this says Toyota, we're still brothers. Getting on it. I do like those WRXs. I've driven some of them. Yeah. And I've driven both the regular version and the STI. Funny thing though is that the STI is not super much better than the WRXs, which is it's so weird. It is so weird.
The FA20 I think is a much better motor.
Yeah, it came too close. It's coming too close in performance. There used to be a nice gap. What the hell is that guy doing? Don't you see that cyclist over there? Do you just want to get next to this guy? That's just stupid, man. That Camry should have waited until he passed me. I didn't even have to get on the brakes.
Yeah.
We don't even have a Prairie. That's pretty much a 350Z or 370Z in this case.
Yeah.
But then more porky. Oh God.
Oh gosh.
Okay. To each their own, but I would not have put that on the side of that car.
Yeah. I would never do that.
That's
unless it's functional.
The Dutch have a word for that. You know, what's that called? Halfords tuning.
And what does that mean in English?
Probably, well, O'Reilly's tuning.
Okay.
Or AutoZone tuning. There we go. AutoZone tuning. Because you go into AutoZone, you see all that kind of stuff. Or O'Reilly's probably the same.
Yeah.
It's just, why? And then the funny thing is, we completely freight train these people at the light, and I'm just going slow. What's going on? What's going on? The people looked at this car and they were like, oh, we don't want none of this.
Right? That's exactly it.
We don't want none of this.